Hey guys, welcome back to the Macro Trader. What I want to start off today with you guys is we're going to go over my macro dashboard. We'll talk a little bit about Bitcoin and some news coming from there, and we'll talk about some recent trades. Starting with my macro dashboard. So basically what I have here is just the big picture levels of how everything and all the markets are interacting right now in macro. First, I have the S&P 500 right now. For today at least, it's pretty much flat at basically no gain, no loss here. The second thing I take a look at is the NASDAQ, which is the QQQ. Very similar to the SPY, really flat today at around minus 0.2%. I think from both charts we can see here that they're both currently in uptrends, which is what this dashboard is meant for. It's really used to see the general direction of the macro market and to see how everything is currently behaving. The next thing I have on my dashboard is the VIX. So again, as I mentioned, the VIX is the volatility index and measures how much volatility is in the market, and some people call it the fear gauge. Currently, right now, we've gone down about 2%. And as you can see right now, it's trading in a pretty low range, and I don't expect it to go any higher. Usually we see some spikes. I mentioned here, we had a spike here because of the hotter CPI data. But after that news, really, the VIX has been flat. The next thing I look at my dashboard is the DXY, which is the dollar index. A lot of macro traders say if you can figure out the dollar, you can figure out a lot of different trades here. Right now, the dollar is, again, flat. It wasn't an uptrend, but I think currently what we're seeing now is it's heading down here in this downtrend. The dollar has a really big impact on macro assets. If the dollar is strong, as in it's going up, it's going to cause risk assets to not do so well. And as the dollar is going down, that's going to be good for risk assets and good for our emerging market currencies. The other two things I look at not a too high of a level is the 2-year note, which is currently in a downtrend. I think we're going to maybe hit this bottom right here and potentially bounce back, which means the yields are going to start receding. I also take a look at the 10-year note as well too, and the 10-year note is performing the same action as the 2-year note. Next thing I take a look at is gold. So gold is just a good asset to see how much concern or fear there is in the market. We had this 9 countdown for buy, and it's been in a current uptrend, which is good. The last thing I take a look at on my macro dashboard is crude oil. Crude oil right now went up 1.6% from yesterday. It's in a current uptrend, and we had this 13 here that it moved along and continued the uptrend, which is good news for the market. These are, some high levels projections that we see for around $85 in the near term for oil. So that's just a really quick view of my macro dashboard. I've been using this for a little bit over a year now, and that's how I keep tabs on all the macro assets. I probably want to look into changing this maybe sooner or later. I think maybe I want to add Bitcoin now since it's going to be a main driver for this cycle, but we'll see. And again, this is just what I use as a barometer for the whole entire market. Moving over to the Bitcoin, just Bitcoin in general and the Bitcoin ETF inflows. From yesterday, the 27th, we saw another $574 million flow into the fund. This is Bitcoin, and the ETF flows have been in a crazy tear, and we'll go over a little bit of some of the technicals and why it's doing so good and why it's appreciating in price so much over the last couple of days. Looking at Bitcoin as the main star of the show for today, and over the last couple of days, today Bitcoin is up 70% at $61,000 right now, which is on a crazy tear. It ripped through this resistance level right here in D-wave projection for around $59,000, and that's good that when we see prices break some of these levels, it means that it's on a good current uptrend. Right now we have a 3 for a buy countdown, which means we're still in a good uptrend. RSI perspective, we are moving up into the top end of the range, and it looks like Bitcoin has still some more room to run. There are a little bit of warning signs here on the daily. Right now we had some 13s that basically got triggered. 13s are our strongest signals, and it indicates that the trend could be reversing. This is not too concerning for me since it blew past this 13 and the trend continued. We'll see what happens after this 13, and if it continues to move along, we've also had this 13 here before, just indicating that we're in a really strong uptrend right now. On the weekly, our target for $75,000 still is there. Right now, from a weekly chart, there's not much really going on here, just showing us this crazy parabolic move right now in Bitcoin. Our size still looks good and just continuing to trend in the middle of the range. Also did want to take a look at our clean spark position right now. Today it didn't do so hot from the daily chart. We are down about 2.6% right now. We have a countdown of 3. And I'm not sure why, you know, the clean spark and some of the miners as well too are not doing as great as Bitcoin is appreciating in price. I'm not sure entirely, but I'm not too concerned since, you know, we haven't gone below this about $20 range, and things still look good from an uptrend. I won't be really concerned until we break this price level. It could be potentially that some of the miners and some of the people putting their money into the miners have been front running this appreciation into Bitcoin, and or maybe that the Bitcoin right now is the top mover. Again, I'm not too worried about this, and I took about another 5% off of my short-term trade just to get a little bit of cash there, and I haven't touched any of my long-term portfolios. On the daily chart, what we did have was a 9 sell here, and we're in a current downtrend right now. Yeah, not too worried. We still have, you know, some resistance or support down here at $16, $17 down here, and the major one here at $20. So again, until we see some crazy price breaking some of these support lines, I'm not too concerned for clean spark of the positions. One thing that actually caught my eye from some of the tweets today was a tweet from Molly here, basically saying, and she took a little snippet of an article that, as most of you guys know, SBF, or Sam Bankman-Fried, part of the FTX collapse, is currently you know, in jail and has been tried. What was funny was in this article that he was actually still shilling, you know, Solana right now as a coin, and for, you know, some of his jailmate friends to use it as an investment. I just thought that was pretty funny that he's still kind of shilling some of these coins as he is, you know, in jail still. Now let's shift over to Solana to take a look at the technicals. Looking at the daily chart, Solana's up about 6% as well too, which is pretty good. I think right now Solana is still lagging Bitcoin for a little bit, and I think that's okay. I think there's been some news right now about Galaxy Digital wanting to get rid of some of their Solana, and I think that's okay. That's good, and allows some other market entrants to enter at a lower price. Right now we have a buy countdown of 3, and we have some resistance here at around $130. We have some upwave projections at 145, and from an RSI, we are right in the middle of the range. Taking a look over at the daily time chart, we are at a 2 for a countdown. RSI is heading into the uptrend right now, and we are looking at some resistance levels at 118 and then 120 here. Finally, looking at the weekly chart right now, no really general DeMark indicators. We just see that it's, you know, going parabolic and going in a very good uptrend. RSI is starting to swing back up, and so maybe Solana has some time to catch over the next couple of days while Bitcoin takes in a little bit of a break and a little bit of a breather. So that's all what I wanted to cover with you guys today. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.